So, these lot are hungry. We've run out of beef heart. They get granules, but they still need a bit of beef. So let's make some into the kitchen. So if you want to make beef heart, you are going to need a beef heart. That's one cow's heart. Beef heart, bullock heart, ox heart, whatever they want to call it. The only faff with making this, it's quite easy, is you're going to need a sharp knife and a lot of patience, because all that white stuff has to come off of the beef heart stuff. So we will unwrap that, do a bit of chopping, and then spend probably another hour chopping, and then we'll get onto the actual mixing up, what goes in it, all that stuff. So I will get this out of the packet now and we'll have a look. So one sharp knife. This isn't the most pleasant thing to do, but you know, we've got to do it. It's for the fish. This could get bloody. Pull my sleeves up. We'll keep that bag because there's going to be a lot of off-cut bits. You might as well get your hands dirty because you're going to have to. There's no two ways about it. But this cost about a £5 from the butcher. Just go and ask them to order you one. They'll get you one if it's a good butcher. Pretty gross. But there you go. That is a cow's heart. And apparently that's what fish like to eat. So, as I say, the most faffy part is all this white stuff and tough bits and cartilage got to come off. And you want all this nice meaty bit here. All of that. You need to cube that up. All these little tendony, sinewy bits, they got to come out. And you want this nice steaky type meat. The butcher says it's very nice to eat. I'm just going to take his word for it and let the fish have it, because I have no interest in eating that. So the tough part starts now with a very sharp knife. We've got to chop this up. I don't know if there's a special way of doing it. This knife needs a sharpen already. But all those white bits have got to come out. And that's the faffy bit, and that's maybe why it costs so much in the shop. Because you can't have any of this when you mix it. So we want all this nice stuff, none of that stuff there. So I'm going to switch the camera off, because I'm going to probably spend about an hour now chopping off all of these bits. And I don't want to get blood on the camera. Right, back in a minute. Just to demonstrate what we're after, it is the meat. Try and get as much of the white bits out as you can. We'll cube it up into little pieces. So I'll do it in chunks. And all these kind of sinewy bits have to come out. Especially this stuff. And that kind of skin stuff, I'll try and take that off too. So get as much of this inside nice meat as you can. None of the other stuff, you don't want any of that. So that's what you should end up with. You don't want any white bits in that at all. Anything chewy, sinewy, ligamenty. There might be the odd tiny bit, but as much as you can get rid. It takes a while. That's what's left. That can go in the bin. We are then going to blend that. You're going to need a powerful blender. So this one's 1,000 odd watts. We'll see if it can manage it. Hopefully it can. We're going to put that in. We've got some mussels, we've got some prawns, we've got some spinach, and we're going to shove a multivitamin in. And then to get it to stick together, some people use gelatin, some people use bananas. Previously I've used krill meal, but that could dye your fish red. So I'm not going to use it. I'm going to use fish meal, and I'm going to make an extra batch with some squid meal in it, which is 90% protein. But it does look rather red, so I don't know if that's going to colour the fish or not. But I know from my fishing experience, if you put squid flavouring on anything, the fish go mad for it. So we'll see how well that goes. So we're going to shove this in the blender in batches, and try and mix up 2 batches. One with white fish meal as the kind of binder. You'll feel it. You'll see it go firm as that powder goes in. And we'll do another half with the squid meal, and then we'll see which one the fish prefer. So I could probably get a bit more off of that, but after about an hour of chopping I've had enough. So there's a fair old bit in there. That's quite heavy. Should make quite a lot of food. Then we'll stick it in the plastic bags and freeze it. I'll put this back on the tripod for the blitzing part. So the other thing we've got is 6 multivitamin tabs and about 8 cloves of garlic. So we need to peel those. And actually, while I'm doing that, we'll put a bit of water on the tablets and we'll give them a squash as well, because I think that will help them dissolve. And then the good thing about having a powerful mixer is that hopefully I can chuck this all in one batch and the ingredients will mix properly. Because when I tried to do this in a little blender, I can only do a bit at a time, and I don't think everything kind of evenly mixed in. So some bits were very garlicky, some bits were just meaty. The garlic does get the fish attracted to the food. I think the mussels and the prawns will do that too. Spinach is good for them, vitamins good for them. And the garlic as well, they go mad for garlic. So we'll put a tiny bit of water on those, just so we can mix that around to get that dissolving a bit. And while that does that, we'll chop all this garlic off and get the peeler off. And then it's just a case of getting it to go through the blender, and that's the tricky bit because it's probably going to struggle. The 650 watt Nutri-Ninja started smoking after not very long. As soon as you add the fish meal powder, it dries out the mixture and it goes quite firm, and that's what you need to keep it together in the fish tank. But that don't work well with the blender. So I'm going to chop these up. We'll start blitzing stuff up in a minute. The other thing is spinach. Some recipes say put 10 ounces in, which is quite a lot. I'll shove a few handfuls in and see what the colour looks like, and then make it up from there. So now all of that lot is going to go into that mixer, and hopefully it can mix it. Let's see what happens. It says to pulse it, I think to keep the motor going, because obviously you don't want to put a ton of liquid in because we don't want it to be runny at the end. Right, about half the beef is in. The rest. Smells like a nice burger. I wonder what it would be like. Actually smells quite nice. But look, you've got a nice paste in there. Look at that, that's done well. That blender hasn't caused any, hasn't even complained yet. Let's get all that bits in there. And then we'll do one with fish meal and one with squid. So it's a nice fine paste. Some of those leaves have got stuck on the top. We'll try and shove them in. I'll give it another blitz and then it is done. Now I've got some white fish meal, and I'm not using the krill stuff because, as I said, I don't want the fish to go pink. I I want my yellow fish to go a funny colour. So this is made of white fish. I'm hoping it will do the same job as the krill meal, but it's fish meal. Makes sense to me. So I'm going to add that in, and you'll hear the blender start to have trouble where the mixture's firming up, and that's what we want. Firming up now where the tone has died. It's drying out the mixture. We'll stop there. It's time to bust the new blender. It's done a blooming good job though. So now look at that. We've got a lovely firm paste. Smells nice. We'll give it one more blitz for another 30 seconds odd. And then that bit's all out. That stick goes in plastic bags, goes in the freezer. So it's actually not that difficult, and I don't know if it's cheaper. It's a lot of faff, but you know exactly what's in it. These fish are ruined. Let's give that one more go. Marvellous. It's quite a firm mixture that sticks together nicely, look. So all we'll do now is get that in the plastic bags, get it in the freezer. Job done. I'll do another batch of the other half with the squiddy stuff in, and we'll see what they go mad for. So I've got little Ziploc bags. We will spoon it into there. I think each one of these roughly took about 250 grams, I think. But we'll measure it out just so we get it roughly right. So that's nice and thick. This is the tricky bit, because you don't want to make a mess. Maybe it was less. Was it 100 grams? That's 100 grams. Let's do 150. Now 150. So you just zip that up. You need to let the air out and just flatten it down so that it's thin enough that you can break a bit off and feed it to the fish. Now the spinach in there is fairly chunky. I might look at a better way to make that thinner. So seal him up, and there you go. 150 grams of beef part ready. I'll do the rest of them. So that's what you should end up with. I've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 packs. What were they, 100 and something grams each. There's over a kilogram there. And if you don't include the cost of the blender, that cost about 25 quid for a kilogram. Don't know how that compares to the shops, but it's quite good fun making that really. So I'll do that again. And the fish like it, so squish it down. Make these packs quite thin. Now look, and then that's easy to just snap a corner off when you need it. It just breaks off. Holds together quite well. There it is there. I think it's quite good to defrost it before you feed them, and you can see how that holds together quite nicely. That's defrosted now. It's just a bit squidgy. So we'll give it to the fish and you can see how much they like it. Let's go. I think they know they're going to get fed. So one thing I would recommend if you're going to feed them beef heart is that you feed pause. Stop your pumps while you put it in. You don't want any of this going up your filters. So I've got this fancy feature, which you can probably see there. If I press that button, that will turn the pumps off in a minute. And I would recommend that if you think you're going to suck up any of this food into your filters. So that's always a good thing to try. Trouble is, you've got to remember to put the pumps back on. Luckily with this gadget you don't need to do that, but in the past I've forgotten, so watch out for that. But let's give them this and see what they think. So it's up here. I'll chuck a bit of both in. One's a squiddy one, one's a not so squiddy one. You can see it on there. And you'll see how mad they go. So it's properly nice stuff, and they really like it. And you can see it doesn't cloud the water. It breaks up into smaller chunks. Always have your little fish because they'll eat the little bits. The big fish will clean up these ones quite fast. So I think I would definitely feed them homemade. The last time I bought beef heart, it was 40 quid for 1.5 kilos and 10 quid shipping. So it's cheaper, it's faffier. You can fiddle with the recipe and tweak it, so they know, you know what's in it. And fiddle it around so they like it more. I think that other keeper's gone already. That's the only bit that's left. So there you go, homemade beef heart. Highly recommend trying that. If you're not too squeamish, you don't mind getting bloody fingers for a bit. But it's very easy. Just buy a powerful blender. I'll put a link to that blender that I've found. It's the cheapest, most powerful one I could find. And it didn't struggle at all. So definitely try it if you want. We will keep a very close eye on him that he doesn't start to go pink. But yeah. Happy fish. I think all that food has gone. There you go. Marvellous.